Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Article of the Week. In this series, we basically take an article and summarize it up for you. This is an article that I read over the week and I found it really good and I wanted to explain it well for you out there. If you want the summary of this article, which I'm basically curating, and I'm basically turning the summary into a video right now, well, you can check out the description box below and you can have a look at the summary yourself. But before we get started, let me just give you the upfront conclusion right here. Even though I have not done that in the past few videos, and I'm kind of sorry about that, because that is what Article of the Week has always been about. It's about getting to you the juicy stuff first, and I kind of may have forgotten about doing that. So what did I learn from this? Well, I learned that we view the world through three moral perspectives: first person, second person, and third person. And flourishing requires us to adequately look after the demands placed on us by all three of them. That was the upfront conclusion right in front of you. Now let's get ahead with the detailed breakdown. Now, whenever we talk about morality, people usually think that some things are just black and white. We fail to address that there can be moral dilemmas right in front of us, where yes, there is a good choice, but there is also another good choice. Or let's just think about it this way: there is a bad choice, and then the other choice that you're offered is also a bad choice. Well, this is where the idea of moral perspective comes into play. Think about it this way. Let's just assume that you are sitting alone in your body, alone at the moment. Well, do you actually notice that you are different from your body? If you're not actively introspecting, chances are that you don't do that. And that is because your body kind of merges with you. Well, that is the first person perspective. The second person perspective is when somebody walks into the room, and let's just say that you were casually just lying around, but as suddenly as somebody walks in through the room, you kind of grow aware of their presence with you. And that's when you adjust your shirt, you kind of sit up straight, you want to focus on them, you really care about what the other person is thinking about you at that moment. Now, the third person view talks about how it is inevitable for us to land at the conclusion that we are actually just like everyone else, that we become so detached with our body at some point in time. Now, of course, I'm using the body as an example here. I mean, for example, look at the time that you actually go to a doctor for a medical visit, right? He's checking up your body, and that's what you realize, that you know what, my body is nothing so special. 100 of them are out there who have perhaps the same specifications. Perhaps there are a million out there who have the same eye color as me, and hence in the long run things do not really matter as to what I do with my body, and I'm probably not so special. So that is the third person perspective. Now, when we view morality through these three perspectives, we need to make sure that we are adequately looking at our moral choices through all three of these visions before we finally decide which choice to pick in a situation where we have multiple good choices or multiple bad choices. Well, this means that the answer to every time that you ask what is the best moral decision is another question. And the question is, well, who are you actually asking this question about? You're asking what's the best choice? Well, is it for you? Is it for the world out there? Or is it for the other person? See, first person, third person, and then the third example that I gave you about the other person was the second person perspective. So that is why every moral choice can be viewed through different moral landscape. This problem is actually more confounded given that we are hardwired to see a problem through these three perspectives, but most ethical schools out there, they really just rely on one. At best, they can satiate one of these moral perspectives, and they think that it is okay to hammer out the other two. For example, as much different as they seem, the Kantian perspective of deontological ethics and the utilitarian perspective of consequentialism, they both really focus on the third world here. I'll try to explain to you how that is. You see, even in deontological ethics, we are worried about how to act properly in the world so that whatever we are doing can be replicated by others, and this replication will actually be something that is beneficial to the world at whole. On the other hand, in consequentialism, we are worried about what we are doing and what kind of consequences will this produce, and would the consequence right? The consequence, would it be beneficial for the world out there? We're not worried about would this consequence be beneficial for me alone. We're not worried about would this consequence be beneficial to the other person. We are consistently worried about the world at whole. So what's the takeaway message? How do you make a moral choice the next time you're faced with making one? Well, you see, you can actually ask yourself, which three perspectives have I been paying the least attention to? Maybe you are somebody who is paying too much attention to yourself. Maybe you're making moral choices as per the question, what is best for me? Or maybe you're somebody who is too much worried about the other person in your life. Maybe you are making moral choices on the basis of the question, what is best for my mother? What is best for my significant other? Or maybe you are somebody who has some kind of a messiah syndrome. Maybe you are worried too much about what the world needs right now and you're caring very little about your own self. So make the decision through the moral landscape at which you have least worked upon. So if you're somebody who is very much engrossed with personal passions, maybe now would be a good time to step away from them and actually look at the bigger picture. If you're somebody who cares a lot about the world and carries a lot of unnecessary stress, maybe it's good to figure out what would be best for you and then go after it. In fact, if you have some kind of a role model, by your own definition, I'm not defining what a good role model would be. If you have a good role model, you can actually try and scale their life and figure out how they have made decisions throughout their life. How much do you think that they act as per their own benefit? How much do you think that they act in order to benefit the other person in their life? How much do you think do they act in order to benefit the world at large? And once you figure that out, once you map their personality against these three moral landscapes, then it would be easier for you to copy them or to be more like them, because I don't like the word copy, but you can be more like them by simply, making those choices which would take you closer to their levels of moral landscape preferences. That would be a good way to put it. That is all for Article of the Week this week, my friends. I would see you again next Sunday. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm doing here. Take care.